They love it down here. They want to come down here. They told me the neighborhood is trendy.
How could it be that you went from paying $500 a month, which was a high rent, to $4,000 a month? How could this possibly have happened? But it did. I think corporate America has changed not only New York City, Little Italy, or the island of Manhattan, but all the boroughs of New York City. And it just became a commercialized trap. That's what it changed to. Well, the first time we saw things changing, I think, was very late 70s, early 80s, when the first building in Little Italy outside of the close-knit community sold to Chinese people. That was the first crossover. We grew up basically poor, and we were very happy with what we had. But then all of a sudden there was money involved. So then the next family moved on, and the next family. And that's how the Chinese first started crossing over into Little Italy. And now, 20 years later, there's actually a Beijing restaurant in the heart of Little Italy. My grandparents, other kids' grandparents, great aunts, maybe great grandparents, they were a fixture of the neighborhood. That was their life. That's how they were going to keep it. They were never going to move on. They didn't move out of the realm of Little Italy. That's what it was. And all the people of their generation were the same.
I'm Mary Schiffer. I come from Elizabeth Street. For 79 years, I've been living here. And we made a big change, which is change for the better. We have nice people coming in. The neighborhood's more cleaner. And it's more safe and everything. But what I miss is Little Italy, that we had a lot more thieves, more protection of policemen. It was nice years ago, too.
My name is Gina. I'm all my life on this neighborhood and all my life in my building here. I was born here, and so was my brother. So it's changing, but to me, it's getting a little better than years ago. Because years ago, we used to have the clotheslines from one side of the street to the other side of the street. That was real old-fashioned. So now today, it's a little bit better. Well, like they say, the Italians are getting out of here. But there's still a lot of them on Mulberry Street, and there's still a lot of them up the block, 21 Spring Street.
My name is Sarah Spinoza. I grew up and I was born in the house by a nurse and a doctor at 215 Mott Street, 84 years ago. And then I moved to Spring Street, 21 Spring Street, which now is very nice. I have an elevator, private bath, 24-hour security, and I am very happy here.
They call me the mayor of this block. I got a picture of me sitting here, and on the bottom it says, Gina, the mayor of this block. Every day I'm here. The winter I sit in the hallway. My friends come and sit with us in the hallway.
The neighborhood has changed because it became too expensive. The apartments used to be $100, and now they're $4,000 and $5,000 for the same apartment. Walk up, no elevator. The stores, well, maybe $500 or $1,000, and now they go between $20,000 to $50,000. Very noisy with all the bars and restaurants. Very noisy. Most of the time, we have to put our air conditioner on late at night because it goes right into the apartment, even if you live on the 7th floor.
The younger generation, my generation, and maybe a couple of years older than me even, but our age, let's say the fourth generation, let's call it, we moved on. We ventured out. So discos became about who went to Queens, who went to Brooklyn, who was hanging out in Manhattan. We then separated. So we made that departure. And then you may have met somebody that you became serious with that didn't live in the neighborhood. So you got engaged, or you moved in together, or you just hung out with their friends, but you ventured out of that neighborhood. So it was that fourth or fifth generation that moved on. And that's what broke up the community. Everybody likes to say, oh, the first family sold out. Yes, the first family may have sold out, but it was the younger generation that decided we aren't going to stay there. Our roots were not there, and we were moving along. And that was it.
There was hard times, you know, there wasn't too much hot water and too much heat years ago. Not too much water power and everything. Yeah, and it was tough living years ago. No refrigerators. Had ice boxes years ago. You had to buy ice for a quarter. Then everything changed. The refrigerator came out, and that's how we bought refrigerator, and we lived a little better.
We had a lot of fun as children because there wasn't that many cars. We played in the street. We had a lot of our mama and papa stores, and everyone knew our names. We could buy the fresh vegetables, the meats. Now there's none at all. It's just very fancy boutiques and restaurants. It's changed a lot. We left our doors open, which we can't anymore. Never locked a window, never had a gate on the window. I don't even remember having a key to the house. The doors downstairs were open. Nobody could bother because we didn't have money and there was nothing to steal. We lost our school, our Catholic school now. Now it's became a condominium. And my mother went there, I went there, and my daughter went there. We're 3 generations.
I worked in the factory on boys' pants, a folder, $1.25 an hour. 5 days a week, 8 hours a day. Now I'm going back 60 years ago. Yeah. But those days, you know, a dollar was worth more than now. Like you would buy cigarettes for a quarter, chewing gum for 10 cents, and all that was cheaper. And now the chewing gum got paid $2 and cigarette $13. Yeah.
But what's happening now is developers are buying closer and closer. So Soho moved into Nolita. Nolita is moving into the heart of Little Italy. They just sold property at 132 Mulberry Street where they're putting up a hotel. It was the biggest sale in Little Italy. I don't quote me, but I believe it was like $15 million. Years back, when we were growing up, nobody had the foresight to see what would happen in that neighborhood. They didn't buy the properties. You take Cafe Napoli on the corner. They're there for over 40 years. They don't own the building. You didn't have that foresight to see it. La Bella Flori pastry shop that's been there since I'm a little girl. They didn't buy the building. So when their leases expire, the landlords are raising the rents by $20,000 to $30,000 a month. You can't afford it. So the only thing that could happen is that the higher end shops come in. The boutique hotels come in. So it is going to change for the better, but it will delineate Little Italy once and for all. That's when nothing will be left. The younger generation has moved out. They're never coming back. They're not raising their kids the way we were raised. Kids today are being educated. We weren't educated. It wasn't important to go to college. We got a street education. If you quit high school, it wasn't a big deal. You can still get a job, whatever you were doing. We're not growing our children up there anymore. It's done. It's died. It's past. So what came in was the transients, the trust fund babies. They came in, NYU College, Pace College, the private universities, bought up a lot of property, and these trust fund babies came in. And what happened was they decided, I can pay $2,000 a month for this apartment, tenement apartment, walk-ups. Some of them have bathrooms in the hallway. You share a bathroom, but they're willing to do this. That's how it changed. And it'll never go back because no one that's ever was rooted there will ever come back there. That's over. So if the younger generation had stayed in Little Italy and our children were part of that community and part of that generation, it may have stayed the same, because as we leave apartments, our children or our next generation are taking them. So therefore, you're not getting these people that are coming in and willing to pay the rents that they're paying. So therefore, the dynamic of the neighborhood stays exactly the way it is. But because we moved on and other people moved in, changed everything. So like I said, I don't think we can possibly change it back, because I know my children would never move. And they couldn't afford it, furthermore, if they wanted to. And the old tradition isn't there. Traditions go. by generation by generation. What we had in the 50s and 60s and what we value today are no longer values. They have different values. So it's very hard to keep a culture intact, like stagnant, and keep it where it is. But you could keep it together if the generations had stayed together. And I believe, in my own personal opinion, that's the only way it could have stayed. Little Italy might still be an Italian neighborhood, only Italian with the old school traditions, if we grew our children up there. But that didn't happen, and it will never happen again.
This used to be my grandfather's Italian restaurant. My grandfather, when he come from Italy in 1905, he bought this building, and this was his building ever since. He sold it for $11,000 before he died. Imagine 11,000. Now it goes for 31 million. Yeah. So I'm still rent control. I pay $89. Everybody yells at me because I'm paying $89. But I wouldn't want to get out of here. This is my life here. This is my memories here.
Greed is all around us. Money is the root of all evil. Years ago, when we had no money, we were happy. When clothes were passed down from sibling to sibling, we were happy. All of a sudden, yes, greed took over. And we don't appreciate anything because every 6 months we get something new. So there's no value. And greed took over our lives like that.
Now there's no more factories. It's gone. They're all gone, the factories. Well, all Broadway was factories. Prince Street, all factories, yeah. Canal, now it's all, how they call it now? A luxury apartment and lofts, all lofts. A lot of lofts now. Factories turned into lofts.
Years back, we didn't have the foresight to see what was happening. Not everybody bought the buildings. So 99% of your landlords are outsiders. We don't even know who they are. They're just either investor groups that come in or individuals that buy real estate. So no, we don't know any of the landlords. And there are a lot of slumlords out there.
I lived in my apartment 79 years. And upstairs in my building, they pay $2,500 down. Very expensive. Then we lived here. She had 8 children in the apartment. Then one by one got married. And I'm the baby of the family, and I remained here and took over the parental control apartment. $100. Everybody with the phone. No matter where you go to Starbucks, they sitting there with their computer all day near the window. 1 cup of coffee, and they sit all day in there. No charge.
The new people that come in, I don't think they really have money. Some of them do. They stay a little longer. But some of them, they're like 5, 10 people in an apartment. And they just take mattresses and a table. And within 4 months, they're gone. It's not people like we stayed all our lives here. So that's the big change. And they don't have elevators. They still have the same cockroaches. So to pay $4,000 for that, and cockroaches you can't get rid of, forget about it. I tried many years, just put bombs, clean the closets, keep the house as clean as possible. There's no way of getting rid of them, especially in the old tenements. They're there to stay. That's New York.
I got married 1951. I come out of here as a bride, and so did my sister. And 50s and 60s, it was nice here. It was really nice. It was old days, Everybody all together, we were all friends. And they moved out. Now they call me up if I got apartments here. Forget about it. The apartments here are $3,500. New landlord.
Do I think it's right? Absolutely not. I think they're lowlifes. I think they're lowlifes for closing restaurants because they want to raise them $20,000. You know how much food you have to sell? $20,000 above your rent, what it is today? So the only thing that could possibly come out of it is that they're going to put a designer shop, a big upscale something, a boutique hotel, whatever, and they could pay those rents. No one else can. So the little mom and pop people are the ones that are suffering. That's who suffered. But again, like I said, nobody fought for us. And now all of a sudden, after this whole change, they want to come across with groups and fight. Too late. This was supposed to have been done from the get-go.
Well, to me, I think it's too high. Too high. A lot of my old tenants, I'm super here. A lot of my old tenants moved out as soon as their lease was up. They couldn't afford to pay $3,500. And that's it. I only pay $89. They can't touch me because I was born and raised here. My old landlord says, if they offer you a lot of money, would you take it? I say, no, I won't take it and I won't move out because this is my life here. My mother said she's gonna die here. She did. My sister said she's gonna die here. She did. So I'm the last one in this building about my family. And I say the same thing. I'll die here.